Good morning, everyone. Let me present to you the digital transformation here in the Philippines. So first, let's define what is digital transformation. It is a wide transformation process that embraces the whole organization. In some definition, it is an incorporation of computer-based technologies into an organization's products, processes, and strategies. The organizations undertake digital transformation to better engage and serve their workforce and customers, and thus improve their ability to compete. In challenging economic times, operational efficiency and cost optimization can also become important transformation objectives. So here are the evolution of e-government in the Philippines. The beginning of e-government development can be traced to the creation of the National Computer Center in 1971, which is under the administration of former President Ferdinand Marcos Sr. to start automating the processes of the Philippine government. The administration under Corazon Aquino was the first to recognize the potential of ICTs in furthering the democratization agenda with an action agenda of rebuild a democratic government through leveraging ICTs. So in Articles 2, 12, and 16 under the 1987 Philippine Constitution, it recognizes the vital role of communication and information in nation building. It requires 60% Filipino ownership of public utility corporations and associations and provide for the power of government to regulate foreign investment and monopolies. And it instruct the mass media companies shall be wholly owned and managed by Filipino. Under the term of President Fidel B. Ramos, the enactment of the Public Telecommunications Policy Act of the Philippines of 1995, also known as Republic Act 795, which liberalized the telecommunications sector and encouraged private ownership of telecommunication services and market competition in the business environment. This legislation contributed to the increase in teledensity and mobile cellular telephone subscription and provided a solid base for mobile and land-based telecommunication networks. Also under his term, he launched the National Information Technology Plan for the 21st Century in 1997. Under the term of President Joseph Estrada, he introduced the Government Information Systems Plan in the year 2000. It recognized ICT as a catalyst for developing new and better services for the public and provided a foundation for creating an online government. He also introduced the Republic Act 8792, also known as Electronic Commerce Act of 2000, was enacted in order to strengthen and fulfill the Government Information Systems Plan. The key objectives for e-government at the local level were envisioned as generating revenue, promoting local entrepreneurship, providing adequate delivery of public services, mobilizing and engaging citizens, and promoting transparency and accountability. Under the term of President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo, she recognized the growth potential of the thriving ICT, e-commerce, and business process outsourcing sectors and made developing ICT a priority. She also introduced the Philippine Digital Strategy for 2011 to 2016. The detailed evaluation criteria used by the eGov Fund to select projects were their potential to contribute to good governance, enhance service delivery, promote social benefits, as well as financial, technical, and operational feasibility and nature of deliverables and costs involved. Among the projects supported by the eGov Fund under the Arroyo administration were the purchases of vote counting machines as part of the modernization of the Commission on Elections, computerization of the Bureau of Internal Revenue, the establishment of the Philippine Business Registry, the creation of the Local Government Portal, and the eGov Portal and Community e-Centers. Under the term of President Benigno Aquino III, he introduced the e-Government Master Plan, which envisioned a digitally empowered an integrated government that provides responsive and transparent online citizen-centered services for a globally competitive Filipino nation. Achieve transformative e-governance by enabling the achievement of good governance goals, including operational efficiency, transparency and accountability, enhanced citizens' engagement, and effective delivery of public service. The Department of Budget and Management has made it mandatory for government agencies to submit information systems strategic plans with their budgets as part of the Medium-Term Information and Communications Technology Harmonization Initiative, or what we call BTH. It is an e-government and ICT support initiative aiming to ensure interoperability across ICT-related resources, programs, and projects across government. It launched the Budget ng Bayan in 2012, a portal which provides information on the budget cycle, and released the National Budget Circular 542 reiterating compliance for the display of the transparency seal on websites of national government agencies. Just like here in the National Irrigation Administration, every time we conduct a budget proposal, we have to ensure that we also complied with the ISSP as required by DICT and DBM. On March 21, 2022, former President Rodrigo Roa Duterte signed the amendment to the Public Service Act, allowing up to 100% foreign ownership of public services in the Philippines, including telecommunications, to create a better business environment and support its digital transformation projects. The former president also signed the Ease of Doing Business and Efficient Government Service Delivery Act, or RA 11032, in May 2018. In 2016, the Philippine government established the Department of Information and Telecommunications Technology, Communications Technology, through RA 10844 to show its strong support to the ICT industry. So here are the challenges in e-government implementation. First is the digital divide. Digital divide reveals the gap between those who have access to computer and the internet and those with no access. Another issue cited is the inadequacy of ICT infrastructure, including the lack of technological skills among leaders, employees, citizens, and vulnerable population, lack of qualified IT developers or managers, lack of interoperability or lack of shared standards, and compatible infrastructure across government agencies, and lack of hardware. And lastly, the ICT legal framework. Some of the ICT legal framework are outdated nowadays. PIDS researchers Ms. Tabuga, Mr. Domingo, Ms. Sikat, and Ms. Ulip emphasized the importance of e-government in the seamless delivery of government services during a pandemic and other similar crises. The authors said the application of e-government solutions has remained incremental in the Philippines. So this study, we can download it through the Philippine Institute for Development Studies website. The Philippine Development Plan 2023 to 2028 specifies digital transformation as one of its underlying themes. So the Philippine Development Plan shall serve as the country's overall blueprint in development planning for the next 6 years. So for 2023 to 2028, it was the term of President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. So it reflects the government's policies, strategies, programs, and legislative priorities in support of and consistent with President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.'s socio-economic agenda. President BBM directed all government agencies to digitalize all essential public services during the State of the Nation address. Efforts in this direction include the establishment of more common tower infrastructures to increase connectivity, digitalization of business registration processes in local governments. Another is the implementation of the National Broadband Plan. Fourth, execution of the Cloud First policy. And lastly, the eGov.ph Super App. So here are the example of digitalization here in the Philippines. The eGov.ph, also known as the eGovernment Philippines, is a mobile application that simplifies transactions between the government and the citizens. With a vision to build a connected nation, this platform integrates the multi-sectoral government through a one-stop online system that will minimize economic cost for the citizens. So the citizen-centric platforms will serve as a partner of the people, ensuring transparency and integrity towards improving people's well-being. In every venture, the government places the benefit of the citizens on the pedestal as a primary objective. With the eGov.ph, the services to be provided with avenues to hear the voices of people. This app allows inclusivity rather, and empowerment across the nation, no individual being left behind. As the government utilizes the possibilities of technology, this is to introduce the eGov.ph Super App. It motivated with the objective to establish a digital Philippines through the adoption of digital transformation systems and solutions spearheaded by the Department of Information and Communications Technology. It was designed to pursue a whole-of-government approach. The department seeks to be a partner for every member of the government body for an enhanced and stronger service to the citizens. Through Republic Act No. 11032, or what we call the Ease of Doing Business and Efficient Government Service Delivery Act of 2018. So this is the iGov payment gateway. So it enhances existing processes, reducing the transaction cost between the government and the people. As easy as with few clicks, government services can be accessed anytime and anywhere, from beginning a transaction and up to payment completion. Taking full advantage and techniques, we press on for a nation with accelerated public service efficiency. Here's the example of a one-stop shop of public services. So it covers both national and local government levels in a single avenue. So here are the e-kitchen, e-shopping, e-market, and e-deliveries. So this is an additional information to all of us. The 29th edition of the Digital Transformation Summit Philippines is a buy-in-bite only in-person summit scheduled on 23rd of May 2024 here in Manila, Philippines. The Digital Transformation Summit is the ideal platform to build industry-defining strategic partnerships, address critical business challenges, with focus on knowledge transfer and capacity building to help accelerate the Philippines' technology revolution. So they are the VIP keynote speaker and speakers for 2024. So why we have to attend? So we have to explore the latest innovations in digital solutions, gain valuable insights from renowned innovation and technology experts, including pioneers and leaders from the region, as they share real-world use cases and practical perspective. So that ends my report, and thank you for listening. Thank you, and Good morning.